We do it sometimes I do it straight through Joey's Legacy, and other times I do it straight through our Facebook Live. This is going through a lot of different venues that can be watched today, so I don't know where everybody's coming in, but I do have Scott here. Scott Fine is from Joey's Legacy. He is the founder of the organization that most of my listeners know that I am a board member of, and our goal with Joey's Legacy is to, well, it's a lot. There's a lot we're trying to do. We're actually trying to get the veterinary boards to be redone and handle situations in a better way. We're trying to get laws changed so that our pets are seen as more than just property. In the boardroom, I should say, we always say they're not a toaster. That's what we talk about all the time. Our pets are not toasters. They're living being animals that we love and take care of. So we're trying to do that. We're also trying at Joey's Legacy to come up with something. We talked in our last board meeting about coming up with something that would allow people to go anywhere in the country and know that the veterinary hospital has been Joey Legacy approved. And that's something that we're working on. So we're doing a lot to try to change the way our animals are treated. And that always comes down to the standard of care. And if you've been on here before, you've listened to us talk about how, and whether you're in a veterinary hospital, a grooming shop, a boarding facility, daycares, dog walkers, dog trainers, anybody who's caring for animals that can't speak, the standard of care is where it all boils down to. And if the standard of care is acceptable and then something goes wrong, then we go in front of a judge and the judge says, well, that's the standard of care. Too bad, you're on your own. So our real goal is to raise the standard of care. And so it's shocking a lot of times for people to hear that that standard is so low. When I talk to people and they can't believe that this stuff goes on in all of these places, they're shocked because we love our animals and assume that the people who are caring for our animals love them as well. So one of the things we do at Joey's Legacy, and people know why I got involved in this, is because I was a vet tech for 12 years and I've witnessed veterinary malpractice. I know that it exists. I've seen animal abuse in both boarding and grooming and daycare facilities as well. So it's very near to my heart, including my own dog, who I believe died from veterinary malpractice. And I was a vet tech at the time. Scott Fine, who is the founder of Joey's Legacy, unfortunately lost his dog, his little dachshund. We both had dachshunds, and so we're kind of connected that way. Joey also passed away from veterinary malpractice. And so the organization was formed, and what is, I think, one of the hardest part about being in this organization is the stories that we listen to, right, Scott?
No doubt about it, Carrie. I mean, they're just horrible, tragic, and they keep coming, unfortunately.
Yeah, they keep coming, and there's no two stories that are alike. And so, but almost always by the time someone ends up at Joey's Legacy or calls me and I refer them to Joey's Legacy, it's because their pet has passed away. But I don't think that we should accept that it's only a problem if our pet passes away, because there's many stories where animals are going through a lot of suffering and a lot of pain, and just because they survive doesn't make their story any less important. So Scott and I are bringing this story to you tonight, and I'm very, very excited to introduce Thomas Clark and his wife, Giovanni. How are you guys?
Good. How you doing, Carrie? Hi,
Hi.
Scott. How are you?
Hi,
Hey, Tom.
how are you?
Yeah, we're
Hi,
doing
Giovanni.
really well. And I think both Scott and I are really happy that you are able, I always say able, to talk about it, because when it first happens, it's so shocking and so hard to believe that you're in it and it's happening to you and this is going on. So I'm appreciative that you both are here and able to share the story with our listeners. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys just don't want to see this happen to anybody else,
Never.
right?
Before we start, I'd like to say thank you guys. Thanks, Joey's Legacy and Scott, actually, because without him, I wouldn't have met you and we wouldn't be where we are today. I'll be honest with you. We didn't know what to do or where to go or how to even act, to be honest. And you guys made this all happen. So thank you guys.
You're
My
welcome.
pleasure. Glad
You're
it worked
welcome.
out for you.
yeah, I wish I hope we can help people and eventually get where we need to get. But I always say it takes a pack. And it really is. It's taking a lot of people to come together. And our veterinarians, for those of you who don't know, before I get into this very important story, Joey's Legacy is a process. And so it's not just an organization saying, hey, we don't want this to happen. We're actually educating people. We are here to prevent this from happening, but we also take people through steps. So when someone like Thomas calls Joey's Legacy, most likely Scott picks up the phone and Scott will walk them through the next steps. And those next steps include speaking with one of our veterinarians, and then it goes to one of the attorneys that we have. So it's important to know, and Scott and I talk about this all the time, right, Scott? It's so important for us to know that we are not here to bash veterinarians. We are here to raise the standard of care up so veterinarians can do their job better. That's what we're here for. And most vets are great. And some vets make really bad mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes are done because their standard of care isn't high. And so it goes through that process. And so before we get started with Ninja's story, I want you to know that the process for Thomas and Giovanna it's not complete yet. So his case is still being read by one of our veterinarians. And from there, it might go to one of the attorneys. And so we're still looking into this case, but the story is so important for me to tell you and bring to you. I should say not tell you, but to bring to you, because I want you to understand when you're listening to the story that this dog, if you learn anything tonight, this dog would not be alive if his parents were not his advocates. If his parents didn't stand up and say, hold on a second, this isn't right. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And it didn't take one vet. It didn't take two vets. It took how many veterinarians, Thomas?
3.
It took 3 veterinarians.
3 vets. And we had critical lists. We had a bunch of clinics. I mean, there was more than 3 vets, but it's 3 main vets. Put it that way. 3 main vets.
So let's start with, first off, can you introduce Ninja to us a little bit? Just tell us like how old he is, where you got him.
Yes, well, I can explain. Ninja, actually, we had the mom and dad, and that's another story in itself. And Ninja was born with the mom Lula and the father's Makoya. And actually, Lula had to get a C-section because she was so tiny that she couldn't hold the pups. And we had him from day one. We took him home and actually nursed them, and she was bottle feeding them and everything else. But Lula was a really good mom, and McCoy was an awesome dad. So and he was 6 years old when he started having the issue. I'm looking at him right there.
That's okay.
And
can we see him? Can he come? Do you have a picture of him or?
Come here. Let me get a Vegas strip. Get him a Vegas strip. He'll come. Only for food. He's not stupid, you know.
That's okay. So what kind of breed is he?
He's a Siberian Husky. There's all Siberian Huskies. They're all pure. The dad's a AKC. So, of course, his papers are a little better. The mom's just an ACL, which doesn't mean nothing. We didn't care. Here, Ninja. Yeah. Come here.
Yeah.
He's coming. Come on, Ninja. Ninja, here.
He wants to be lazy now.
Come on, Ninja. You seem like you can't even get up. Come on, Ninja, here. No.
That's okay. That's okay.
Come here, Ninja.
We don't want to upset him. Maybe he's a little camera shy.
Here, Ninja. Let him in here. Let him in here. Come on, Ninja. Ninja, come on. Here he is. Here's Ninja.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, say hi, Ninja.
Hey, Ninja.
Say hi. He's not 100%, believe me, by all means. You know what I mean? But he's still here. Put it that way. I mean, honestly, I think he only has one kidney, right?
Yes.
One kidney after all we've been through because of all the things he's been through. But yeah.
So let's go back to so you raised him. Mom bottled.
He wants me to pet him. If I ignore him.
Okay. So what were the first? So he gets sick. How do you know he's sick?
The thing was, we have video cameras on the outside of the house, and we heard, actually it was like 12 o'clock midnight. I heard a yelping and a crying. And I was like, what was that? I jumped up. I knew it was one of the dogs, but I didn't know what happened. So we ran outside and he come running in like nothing was wrong. So we're like, that was weird. So I got the camera and then I saw he was trying to go to the bathroom. He was bending over and he was crying and yelping. You can lay down, Ninja. Good boy, buddy. So when the next day I said that was weird. I said if that he does that again, I gotta take him to the emergency room because something it was on a Friday night. So, our vets of course aren't open on a Saturday.
Right.
So we have to take him somewhere. So sure enough, I don't know what time was it, like 9 o'clock in the morning, nine or 10, I think. And he went back out again. And I got the video and I recorded the video. And I said, we got to take him. Let's go. So we put him in the car. We took him to the first emergency hospital. And we thought, because the way he was crouching over, it was his back. So we're thinking he hurt his back. There's something wrong, but we don't know what it is. But we're thinking it's his back because every time he bent over, and we're not vets, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're just a loving pet owner. So we took him to the first emergency hospital. I showed him the video. I said, look, this is what happened to my dog, Ninja. And I said, we don't know. We think it's his back. He hurt his back. So they bring him in. And I don't know, when I was like an hour, maybe that's it, an hour. Yeah, they did an x-ray on his back. And, knowing us, we're not smart with it, anything because we don't know anything. Like I said, we're not vets. So we just depend on them. We said it was his back, but we didn't know.
Right.
So they bring him out and they gave us some pain meds. So they gave us pain meds and they told us to go see our own vet. Okay, no problem. But now, grant you, this is an emergency hospital. This is a 24-hour emergency hospital. We only have two in our area.
Yes.
So
They do X-ray and they do blood tests to make sure you have no Lyme disease. They say they don't think it's Lyme disease, but they do the X-ray. They think it's the back. They don't see anything, and they say we have to follow up with our vet. Okay, and we didn't. They give him the pain medication, and we start giving them pain medication, and he was doing okay. The next day, was passing the day, he's still yelping.
getting worse, actually. He
And
was
they
getting
get to
worse.
the bed, and I say the bed, he's still the pain. I was giving another medication with prednisone. He was drinking more water and all of that, but he started continuing the pain. He know what's sitting down. Say, what happened? I go back again to the bed. I say, something is wrong with the dog. Something is wrong. Entonces I say, why I can do? I told him, please, maybe he needs an ultrasound or something. Oh yes, do an ultrasound. Where do you do ultrasound? He told me, no, you have to go to an hospital to do it. He recommended me to go to the second hospital. Okay, I can't say the name, but I went to the second hospital. We make appointment for the ultrasound. They made the ultrasound. I couldn't go to the appointment. I have to work. You went to the appointment with the dog to make ultrasound. What they tell you, the doctor?
Yeah, when I went there, they did the ultrasound and they said, they found a cyst on his prostate, and they think it could be cancer. So they did a biopsy, took a biopsy, and they wanted us to come back on December 2nd. This actually was on November 24th. This happened. It all started October 3rd, actually, where the first incident happened. So we had to wait because we thought the medicine was going to help him and making him worse. So November 24th, they did the ultrasound, bring me in for a CAT scan on December 2nd. And they found out how big the cyst was. It was 17 centimeters, like 7 inches big on his cyst. And they said it's not cancer. And actually, it was, I have the paperwork. It's like a qualimus. I don't know, some kind of name, but it's a non-cancerous cyst. And so the thing was, we figured, I don't know anything. So they told us we're going to give you antibiotics, right? We're going to send you home with antibiotics.
Yes. When they making the ultrasound, the size of his cyst was 17 inches by 12,
17 centimeters.
17 centimeters by 12 centimeters, and the wide and 8 centimeters deep. Was a mega cyst.
Mega cyst.
The doctor talked to me, and they told me, okay, we have something big. the dog need operation. I will talk to the doctor who do the operation. Say, please, the dog have problems to start pooping. He cannot poop good. He having problem. That's why he was crying. He didn't poop. He said he will call and start calling every day. Please, the doctor, talk to the doctor for the operation. Oh, they put me up an appointment to see the doctor
January.
in January.
First
I
to
call
see.
to see the other doctor to the operation, and I call him every day. Please, I need a sooner appointment.
More than once a
Please,
day.
need an operation. I've been calling and calling and calling. I was pushing until they give me something more sooner in December 14th. But I say, please, I need the operation. Somebody, a human, have kind that sees like this, the operation will be next day, next week. No pushing until January, no pushing until middle of December. I was calling and begging. Only what they do, give antibiotic to the dog. And I was fighting for that. I
Yeah.
don't know what else to do.
So they gave you the antibiotic?
Yes, they give me
Antibiotic.
antibiotic, but I was not helping because it was yelping and dog was a lot of
It
problem to
was,
pooping.
yeah,
And I
it
told
was
them,
sad
So
watching.
how much time has passed from when you first went to the emergency room to the time that they give you the antibiotic? Is this 2 weeks? A week?
No, they gave us when they did the CAT scan on December 2nd, they gave us antibiotics. They put him on antibiotics. But the doctor that did the CAT scan said he needs surgery. I'm going to talk to the surgeon and to get him in for surgery.
Okay.
So, not sure what
But
happened
they-
between there or them,
no
but
communication,
no
between
communication
them.
or something. So, whatever happened between the two doctors, we're still waiting, and the dog is in pain. The antibiotics aren't doing it. And we were calling, literally, I have the records of the
Right.
times we called, everything, not the voice we called, but just the times. And it was every single day. And then
And the second doctor, the surgeon, is the one that's not responding to you?
she's not responding.
No
Not
response.
No response. And
Wow.
we kept calling to try to get him in sooner. And then finally,
Well, what's happening to him in this time? He's getting worse?
worse.
It was getting worse. That was a calling. I want a sooner appointment to have the operation. When they give me the day to make the appointment to see them, we right away we take them. The vet saw him. Oh, he needs the operation, and she put it for the next day.
Yeah,
not the
but
same day.
what happened was we called and called and called. They when we were calling, they got angry because we were calling so much. All right. They got angry. So I stopped calling like on December 8th or 9th. On December 8th or 9th. On the 13th, he was really in bad shape. So we got in there on the 13th. No, the 14th.
Mhm.
The 14th. I'm sorry. The 14th, December 4th, we got in there and she goes, "Oh my God, he needs surgery." But first she said to me, "That's why you neuter your dog." That's what she said to me as soon as I walked in. I mean, come on, man. My dog's in pain. I mean, it ain't about neutering the dog at this point. It's about taking care of him. She was just like, it was bad.
Yeah, if there's one thing we don't need when we're struggling to help our animals is being lectured on our choices that we
Right.
already made. They don't change anything.
No.
And that, unfortunately I see a lot of also with veterinarians is, but with respect to veterinarians, her timing was bad, but maybe she really feels that dogs should be neutered. So, but you're right. I mean, how horrible is that? You're getting lectured, and let's focus on my dog's health right now. So,
Exactly. And I told her, he's here today. Can you do the surgery? No, we'll set it up for tomorrow.
so what surgery were they going to do? Remove the
Well, it's called amortization. And that's when
Hold
they
on a second, though. Before you do that, because I know we went to a third vet, but the diagnosis currently, before we get to this third vet, was just a tumor on the prostate.
a cyst on his prostate.
A cyst on the
huge,
prostate.
a mega cyst,
Mega
a mega cyst on his prostate.
Okay,
You
so
got
the
something to say
so
there?
the doctor, the second doctor that is agreed to do this surgery, has this doctor agreed that it is very important emergency surgery?
It's still the first
Oh, it's still the
doctor.
first doctor. Okay.
Well, the first doctor was the one that did the cat, but they work together. They work in the same hospital.
Oh, the same hospital.
The
Okay.
same
Okay.
hospital. So the one that did
Okay.
the CAT scan and the doctor, the surgeon that was in that hospital, they work together. That's why we're like, what's going on? Why aren't they getting back? Why they
I
make
see.
us wait to January? You know?
Okay, I see. I thought that you were going to different hospitals. So
No, no. It's all the same one. It's the same
it's common.
hospital.
It's actually really common in veterinary medicine to have 3 or 4 different vets in a
Well,
facility.
we did
So,
in
but that makes it even more frustrating as to why you're not communicating because you're
exactly.
yeah.
And
So
making us wait.
now it's what's going on, guys. This is the same hospital, different vets, same hospital.
They have
Yeah,
all his records, everything.
Yeah, that's even more frustrating. But so
They
this
knew.
hospital has agreed that this is a important surgery. It needs to get done. Yet they book you out how far?
Over a month
They wanna put me
Wow.
in January to
in
see
January.
the
That's for consultation
for the consultation. But
for the surgeon.
because I was calling so much that they give me something in December, and thank God we gone in to bring it. But I'm trying to maintain the dog, trying to poop because he couldn't.
We were
poop.
giving him
What?
Vaseline. What was it?
Yeah, the other bed, the own bed told me you can give him Vaseline.
We're trying to do
help him
everything so he can go to the
to
bathroom.
pass the
Both.
stool more faster.
Urine in.
And I was trying to give him not that much food, less quantity of food because I don't want his belly get so more bigger and causing more problems.
Right.
And until he saw her, they saw the doctor, and he said, "Yo, she's agree the dog needs to have operation," and they put it for the next day.
The next day.
The next day, we bring him.
But the problem was he stopped urinating.
Yes.
He couldn't urinate no more. His bladder, okay, after the surgery, she did the surgery. When she called us, what time? I don't know, was it like 3 o'clock or 4
We
o'clock?
bring the dog, they do the operation. They say after the operation, they're going to call me that because they have to spend, overnight probably.
Yeah.
After she called me, after the dog called me after the surgery, he said, when between the surgery, they didn't put the Foley catheter to the dog because it was so big.
He couldn't get it in.
Oh my God. So, and they told me that they have to open the bladder and they have to empty the bladder. And the doctor told me they empty 2 liters of urine.
Like 2 large bottles of soda.
Like a bucket.
No wonder he was in so much pain.
Yes.
My God.
And after they check it out, they say was no cancer, don't see anything. They close it, they do what they have to do. But one thing that made me alert to me, they say, if the dog don't boil or pee in 24 hours, you have to put him down. My question is, why the doctor mentioned me that it won't pee in 24 hours?
How does she know?
You don't know. Anyway, say, okay, doctor, fine. I want to make sure have to spend the night until the dog boil and you can pick it up and all of that. This. And they told me, all of this. We're waiting. We're hitting the house. We're calling, passing the hours. After 8 hours, the dog no boil. The dog no boil. Passing like 12 hours, the dog no boil. They say they will take him outside. He was trying, but he couldn't boil.
You can't.
And after the emergency doctor in the night, they have to put another Foley and they empty the bladder. And couldn't boil. Say, why the dog is not boiling? We're waiting. The next day, the doctor called me. Say, the dog is not boiling, but you can take him home to see, probably because the stress cannot boil and he don't want to eat.
So he's not having a bowel movement or urinating?
No, no urinating in the place. But they say probably.
I don't know about Val though. Was he going number 2?
Yeah, he went the number 2 over there, but he didn't. He went number 2 over there, but he didn't boil.
He couldn't urinate.
He couldn't pee.
Urinate.
But the thing is that they call me. They say probably because of stress or because in there. Probably that's why he's not urinating. And I went over there. Okay, let me try. I'm gonna bring him home. They say if the dog don't urinate in 24 hours, euthanize, no, bring it here and to see what else we can do. Say, okay, I bring it. The dog was scared, taken. He was trying to pee, but
He
nothing was
couldn't. He
coming
couldn't get it.
out.
Nothing.
And I say, oh my God, what's wrong? I don't want to wait the 24 hours. I bring him before because 24 hours too long.
He's gonna blow
Why
up.
the vet told me more? And I bring him over there. The vet, the
She
doctor who
wasn't
did the
there.
operation, she wasn't there.
She
Thanks
wasn't
God.
there.
Was another doctor. And they put a catheter. And I called and she talked to me and they give me the report, the dog don't urinate and having the notes that if the dog don't pee,
To kill him.
they have to euthanize him. And I beg to the other doctor, please don't do it. Please put him a Foley catheter. Please. I know how to take care of that. I'm a nurse. I could do it. And said, I cannot do that, but I'm saying, please help me.
We're
And what she
begging,
do,
begging.
she helped me and she put like a straw catheter, a strong one,
It's
because
like a hard,
she
like a
wants to try
straw.
to put is the soft one, but it couldn't pass because it was so swallow. And she said probably because swallow, probably is that he put a strong one to something to open in the beginning to like I can empty the bladder and say, okay, thank you so much. We bring him home here.
She said if he doesn't, if you take him out in 24 hours, you have to remove it because it's harder to cut him inside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but she said to take it out in 24 hours. If he don't urinate, bring him back.
Mhm.
But she was there for 3 days or 4 days. She was going to be there for 4 days. She was on the call for 4 days. So she had the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. She was there.
And she's who you're wanting to deal with at this point.
At
Yes.
this point, yes.
Yeah, because what's the other one? She's helping me, and she put a straw catheter, checking.
She was trying
And
to help.
hey, try to empty every 6 hours, check it out. Of course, I'm gonna do that. I was working, and here I show how to do it. I show to my daughter, and I was emptying and checking. He was coming out from the straw. He was like, you can see, he was
You feel better,
he was
comfortable.
eating, he was pooping, he have another. He was feeling much better, but he couldn't pee. But he was putting his leg up like he was doing, but nothing was coming out. My heart was breaking. Open it, make him do it. But she said you can leave it only this kind of straw catheter only for 24 hours to 36 hours. You cannot leave it too long. And after you have to remove it. And I was calling her and I gave a report because she wasn't called. And she told me how to do it. I remove it to see maybe he can pee his own. I remove the straw catheter.
Nothing.
The same thing, nothing.
24 hours later, he still can't urinate. So we had to end up bringing him back the next morning. She said, you don't have to wait the 24 hours, because the first surgeon said, wait 24 hours. So we're thinking we have to wait 24 hours.
No, for me, I know what's waiting. And when I bring her, she said, you know what? Now I'm going to put like the soft catheter because the swallow start better. It's going away. And she put a soft one. But this one, I have to empty the urine with the syringe. I have to do it.
Because it's real small, and it wouldn't drain out. The tube is really tiny. So thank God, because you had to use a real small syringe to suck it out and just, it was crazy. Well, that, I know Scott's shaking his head. He knows.
And that kind of Foley could be for a week.
A week.
Okay. She put it, help me. I was every 8 hours checking him, empty his urine, making help and giving his pain medication, checking the swallow go away and all of that. Like normal, he was eating, pooping, but no peeing. Anyway, passing the time. And after that,
she told her
during that week,
she told you to call who?
Yes, during that week, the other doctor called me. They gave me the report when they did the biopsy. Say no, it's no cancer and all of that. But he say he only will give you one last chance. If the dog no can boy in this week, you have to put him down. He mentioned me this word 3 times, and it was breaking my heart. I say no, I can't do it no more. I started looking my other option. I start looking the internet and looking for other doctors and all of that.
But she skipped that. The second surgeon told us, I will look for somebody else.
Yes,
that's what she said.
Wait. And all of that. I start looking all of that. And this doctor was telling me, look for other options, and you can take to another hospital, one in New York.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
At this point though, do they have a theory as to why they removed the cyst and he's still not urinating? Do they have any idea why this is happening?
I don't know. They didn't tell us why. She on the paperwork. It's saying she did almatilization. That's the drain, and whatever it is, I have the report of it. What she said she did. Okay, this is the kicker. That's the kicker because we got 3 doctors, 3 surgeons. Well, 2 surgeons and a doctor saying all the same thing. Okay, this is what the funny part is because after
So what are they saying? Euthanize?
almatilization,
No,
all
no,
3.
yes,
Uh-oh.
the doctor who do the operation, she put me
The first
euthanize.
surgeon said to kill him. That's what she said. They put him to sleep. Then, like once we met. This is when we found Dr. Zeltzman online, and we read a story about a dog named Madeline. And my wife found it, and it said because we were looking for handicapped dogs, anything for people, how they do it with their handicapped dog. All you can do is go to the bathroom.
Yeah, because the doctor who helped me when I put the soft catheter told me, you know what, this dog, you can do something more. Say try another hospital. I don't know if I mentioned Cornell's.
Oh,
So
I wouldn't mention
he
any.
told me to try to one hospital
No
in New
hospital.
York,
Well,
to
you're
try
right.
to go over there and to see the doctor. They can do, maybe they told me they can do something more for your dog. The doctor who helped me with my dog over there, she told me try another hospital in New York. They can help
It could
you
help
there.
you.
And when they told me
We
that,
were at an
I
option.
called to the other hospital, and the problem is they say that they have a waiting time. A lot of people they cannot take it right
Mhm.
away. And I start looking at the internet, and
Yeah.
I find that
Mhm.
Dr. Salesman. I
Zeltzman.
found it in the internet, and I write him a huge
I
letter
have
that
the letter too.
whatever I did to my dog, they tell me they wanna
She
put
wrote
him.
down everything, even how much urine she was
Yeah,
taking out of the dog.
how much went through the folly that he been using. I was begging, please, for help. What else I can do? Because I read the story of
Madeline's
Madeline,
story. If you look it up, you'll
and
see
I
it.
say, my dog has something like that. Probably, because he swallow, he cannot pee, and that's why he called me, and I'm making a appointment to him to do the operation, and this is what happened.
Well, what happened was when she found Madeline's story, right? She calls me and said, because Dr. Zeltzman got back to us right away. He's like, do not kill the dog.
So you contact him.
She emailed him.
How many days so now you're using the soft catheter,
Yes,
correct?
yes, we had a.
And but you still need to clean this and you still need to do this. How many days has he been on the soft catheter? And actually, how many days since the
No,
surgery?
when they put the
This
soft catheter,
19.
I call it next day after they put in the soft
Or
catheter.
2 days later.
Yeah, like 1 day or 2 days I called because I was looking for something, and when I read the
She
story
got
of him,
lucky.
I text him and he called me right away. I remember it was in
But the
December.
soft catheter went in on the 19th, I believe, and the 22nd is when we got him.
Mm-hmm.
So 3
Okay.
days later.
So 3 days after the
Yeah.
surgery.
After the catheter, the soft catheter went in. It was 3
Okay.
days later.
Yeah, something like that.
So we were running out of time. Put it that way.
Okay, yeah.
We
So
were
he's
running out
had
of time.
this soft catheter in now for 3
3
days.
days.
3 days. Yes,
Yes.
because he
And
can be
that's
going
when
for
you get a
1 week.
hold of Dr. What's his name?
Zeltzman.
Zeltzman.
Dr.
Where
Phil
is he
Zeltzman.
located? You don't have to tell me exactly, but I mean, I'm sure
He's
he'd be
from
happy.
around Allentown, Pennsylvania area.
So
He's a
close
traveling
to you guys.
surgeon. He's a traveling surgeon. What's funny was my wife calls me and said, Dr. Zeltzman said he could do it, but he's a traveling surgeon. So I'm like, what are you talking about, traveling surgeon? I said, where's he from? I don't know, but he said he could do it. I said, you're finding this thing on the internet. Your contact, this guy could be in California. He could be in Alaska. I don't know where he is, you know. So I look him up. I get his name. I look him up. First thing I see is a 5-star, right? 5-star, board certified surgeon. I'm like, Allentown, Penn. I was like, this got to be a miracle. This got to be a miracle. The guy's right here. He's only an hour away from me. It's a
Yeah,
miracle.
I don't know if it's a miracle as much as it is you're, just to keep going and keep finding and keep looking and not give up. But so he says he can do the surgery. What surgery is he planning on doing? So he hasn't seen your dog yet, correct?
No, but my wife wrote him a letter, every little detail. I mean, that thing's like this long. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Getting it on the
Okay.
screen. And he got back to us and he said, "Do not kill the dog. Let me see if I can help you." He
So
said,
he thinks just off of that he knows what the real problem is.
exactly.
Yes.
So he's looking at this going, no, 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 no. We shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have, but I think I can help.
Exactly. So what he
Okay.
says is bring him in the next day, okay? He didn't make us wait a week. He didn't make us wait 2 weeks. He said
Well,
bring
he
him
knew
in.
you couldn't. Your dog has been on a soft catheter for already now 3 days. So he knew.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. He knew, but some vets don't know and they don't, but he knew and he knew he had to help and he had to be
So you
quick.
guys drive to him.
Yes. We
How
drive to him
how far is that?
an hour away. Because we
So-
had to go, he travels. So the nearest clinic he works is an hour away from us. And
Okay.
actually, I could say the name of that one. It's Broadheadsville Veterinarian Clinic, and
Okay.
that's in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. And he
Okay.
works at that clinic, and that's
So
one
he's
clinic
there.
that
He happens to be there. You guys jump in the
Waiting.
car.
he's waiting. He's
Oh.
waiting for us. We get
Okay.
there, and he says what he's going to do is put a cystostomy tube in his side into his bladder. So he puts a tube in there, and it has a little balloon on the end. It's a soft balloon, and you can open it and drain it.
That's calling the mushroom tip.
It's a mushroom to show she knows. She's a nurse. I don't know. I know it's a tube that goes inside and you open the
Yes.
valve like a faucet
Yes.
and it comes
Yeah.
out. And
Okay.
he put that in. And he did the surgery the first day. And what I love about him, when he does surgery, he wants the dog home with the parents. He wants them with the family because they're more comfortable with the family. They can heal faster. They're not used to cages. They're not used to being in there. And so, I mean, after the first surgery, I can tell you see that scar on his eye. If you look close, that's from
Yeah.
the first surgery. He has a scar over his eye because it was bad. He came home and he had a cut over his eye, and we're like, "What the heck happened here?"
Yeah.
You know?
Is that from when he was in the kennel, maybe?
Yep, yep.
They're not
After
used to it.
surgery, and he had a
That's-
nice gash.
That's common. That's, I mean, unfortunately, sometimes when they wake up from surgery, they're,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
kind
I understand, but I wasn't, everything.
it's not
was-
pleasant to see or have
No,
to know that
no.
that happens, but it sometimes is part of waking up from surgery. They
That's why I
kinda
like Zelsman
plan.
because when he does it, he sends him right home. He don't really because even it doesn't matter. The only time because we had to go to the ICU, but that's but when he does surgery, he usually does it and he sends the pet home so they're comfortable and they can heal fast.
Yeah.
When Dr. Sussman talked to me that what he gonna do, he said I'm gonna put it a cystostomy tube that is similar to like urostomy tube, like for a person. It's
Mhm.
tubing that go to the bladder to both sides. And he told me it would be like mushroom tip, and I say that
Three-way cock stop.
yeah, three-way cup stack is like way to open to empty urine, but he said, you have to take him first. Like I was doing exactly what he told me, taking out first, try to make him pee. Like he was trying like peeing, but nothing
Yeah,
coming out.
nothing.
And after when you come inside,
Drain
you
'em.
open it, drain it, and let the urine go outside. And I was doing to see to pee. I was doing like he told me 3 times a day or 4 times a day. I was doing it around the clock, taking the same thing. He was
He wasn't
trying.
peeing. And we emailed Dr. Zeltman saying he cannot pee. And we said, he doesn't want to eat. We don't know why. He goes, that's strange. I have the emails. I have all the emails. And he goes, that's strange. He goes, the dog should be able to eat by now. And we're like, we don't know what's going on, doctor. I think he was more confused too, be honest with you, because he don't know what they did. We
Right.
didn't know what's
Sure.
going on. So in the meantime, the dog's getting worse.
Yeah.
And he still can't urinate. And Ed, are you a million times sure that the dog cannot urinate? And he said, it's dark out. Maybe you got to use a flashlight. He's saying you can't see. I said, Dr. Zeltzman, this is Tom. This is Giovanna's husband. I said, I'll send you a video.
That's good. Videos are the greatest thing.
The best.
Yeah.
Videos don't lie. You know what I
So
mean?
he realizes that through the video that, he's straining. He wants to pee and
he
nothing.
can't understand what's going on. So then my wife was saying, Doc, I think the dog's anemic. He's becoming anemic. He's licking the floor. He was very weak. And he goes, well, I don't see if that's how that's possible. I don't believe the dog could be anemic. And she go, I'm telling you, I think the dog's anemic, because he don't know really what's going on either. And it was all, I'll tell you the truth, it was a learning experience for everybody. No
It
one
is,
been
and
through it.
that's why we're so thankful to have you help us learn through your eyes. But I want to talk about something really quick. For you to note, I always tell people animals are so much different than humans, because for us, when we do things, weird, strange things, it could be more emotional based, or just we do these weird things. Dogs don't just suddenly start licking the floor for no reason.
Mhm.
So when we're dealing with animals, we cannot just push those things aside as, oh, this is some new weird behavior my dog just started. He didn't get in a fight with his girlfriend and start pacing the floor. Like, something makes animals do the things that they do. And so it's very intuitive of you, Giovanna, to say, wait, he's licking the floor. And why did you think licking the floor could be anemia?
Because the way he was leaking, the way he was acting,
She could
was
tell.
something like say, oh my God, something more wrong. Plus, he's not peeing yet. Something inside me telling me something is wrong with him.
But first, she thought it was the medication. We're thinking, because we asked
Sure.
doctor, you think it could be the medication? He goes,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you want to cut it back because then he'll come. What's that word that when you cut it back too fast?
We don't want to get like tremors or something when you cut a medication.
What do they call the word?
Okay. So,
mhm.
but he's right in going, okay, maybe because medication can make all of us, including our animals, act differently. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because you got to start ruling stuff out.
Now,
Yes.
So he said cut back, but not
So he
everything.
had you cut it back a little bit so that
But
we don't
was
send
it-
him into any kind of a withdrawal.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
withdrawal,
Or what does the name? I forget the name. She knows the name
It's
of it.
withdrawal.
No, it ain't withdrawal. It's another name. Resistance, right?
When you get an antibiotic, yeah, you can get
resistance.
when you take too long.
Resistance.
Well,
If you-
antibiotic resistance can, yeah. Okay, I see I see what he's saying.
And
So
we don't
now,
want them to be resistance or whatever. I don't understand the doctor terms or whatever it was,
That's
but
okay.
and then
so you're calling him and telling him these symptoms that are happening.
Yes. And I say, I need to do a blood work in my dog and all of that. I say, okay, welcome, you can do a blood work. I went back again, drive 1 hour. I say, please, I need a blood work.
he said the only way we'll really be able to tell is from blood work. And my wife says, yes, I want to do the blood work.
That makes sense. Absolutely.
And we take him over there, they do the blood work. But
To the first hospital?
No,
we're Dr. Zeltzman. We're dealing with nobody else no more. This is
Okay,
Dr.
so you guys are
Zeltzman.
Back
Back to Broadhead.
and forth. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
So
Broadhead.
you drive up again another hour or so to
Yeah,
get blood work.
Yeah, because now the first hospital, I don't trust him anymore.
We can't
I
trust.
take him to the second one that that he did operation, I went over there.
He saved our dog.
Yes, I did the blood work, but when we come back in those days for the blood work, something happened that another dog was running around and the tubing
Came out.
Oh my
well,
God.
The plan was my daughter and son were home and they were draining because my wife was showing everybody we all have to help,
Because
So she's teaching my daughter and my son. They were draining it. But the other dog, there was another dog that came by the house. My daughter was in the middle of draining them, and the dog jumped up, started barking. So Ninja jumped up and he pulled the tube out while she was draining it. And she's freaked out. Now the kids are home, 16 years old, calling us. She's panicking and screaming. I killed the dog. I killed the dog. I said, Crystal, it's okay. We'll be right home. We'll be right home. Don't worry. We'll be there. Don't worry. She goes, I think I killed him. I killed him. She's starting to cry now because she's sitting here. Yes. So I said, it's okay. You didn't kill the dog. He's going to be okay. So we got home. She's crying too. Yeah.
Yes.
What's her name?
Crystal. You want to say hi, Crystal?
Yeah, say hi. It was traumatic. Hello.
Hi, Crystal. This
Hi,
sounds
Crystal.
like it was so tragic for all of you.
Everybody, man. It was not easy, but I called Dr. Zeltman right away, but he was in surgery, of course, So it was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're calling him. And my wife started emailing. Again, we have the email saying he pulled out the tube. What do we go? What do we do? He called us right back. He said, my wife's like, I don't know. He said, don't worry. He's going to be okay. Bring him in tomorrow, and then we'll put the testosterone tube back. And my wife's like, I can't do that because he can't urinate. He can't urinate yet. He's not urinating. Now, this is a month later. Okay? A month
wow.
later.
But he was with that tubing was for 1 month.
For 1 month. Only
But
1 month.
the thing is that after he pulled the tubing, I don't want to wait 24 hours. I don't want to blast
The bladder again. Because he can't urinate.
I want to help him to heal the bladder. Entonces, we went
Keep it shrunk.
to the other emergency hospital.
We went to another hospital.
What does he think? Does he know what it is yet? He's
No,
still
but
waiting for so we've got to get the blood test done.
Yes.
No, we did the blood test. He's waiting for the results.
Okay, so we're waiting on the results.
And I think I got the paperwork upstairs.
Yes.
What day was the results?
And,
How long?
because when we after 3 days was the result.
It was before the surgery that he wanted to put the tube back.
Yes.
So he ends up being anemic, right?
Yes.
Severe
The
anemia.
thing is that we went to the other hospital, and of course we had to put another
Catheter.
catheter until he could see him next day to put again the cystostomy tube. But in the meantime, when they're gonna put the next cystostomy tube, he get the results, and in those
At
he
that
showed
time,
the dog was very anemic, and his
couldn't do it.
platelets were very
Deadly low.
deadly low. The
Wow.
platelets, he was have no platelets, and he said, why he's anemic, why he's the platelets.
And they
He said,
call
I
it-
cannot do the operation like this. Entonces he
No.
has to be with a soft catheter
Put another
for a
catheter.
while, and when
This is where it gets interesting because the dog he said there's a problem between the platelets in a anemic mixed together. It's like your red blood cells are fighting against each other. It's called Evans syndrome. That's what they call it, Evans syndrome. But I believe the Evans syndrome is a little different, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So they were saying Evans syndrome, but Evans syndrome is deadly. It will kill them. Because
So
your
that's what
body-
they're now suspecting.
They're
that he has.
suspecting
they were
it's
suspecting,
Evans
but
syndrome.
they wasn't sure.
They weren't
Sure.
sure.
Yes.
So that's when he sent us to the internist.
Yes.
Real quick, would this syndrome cause a dog to not be able to urinate? Is that
No.
one of the symptoms?
No.
So they kind of suspect that you might have two things going on.
Yes, he was
More than
suspecting, but the problem he's saying he don't know why.
He didn't
Sure.
know.
Sure.
He sent us to an internist.
Science is not a science,
Exactly.
right? Like
Exactly.
we think we can just run a test and it tells us all the answers, but the reality is sometimes tests can send us down more roads and issues. So okay, so now we're going to send you guys to another
internist. Yeah, an internist, another doctor.
Okay.
So this is where the internist comes in.
Okay.
And
But in the meantime, he having the
soft catheter.
the soft catheter, and I was changing him that soft catheter every week because I don't want to cause infection in the dog. Plus all the problems
Because she couldn't get us in. She was busy. Plus, she was on vacation already.
She was
on vacation. We won't say the name. She was on vacation for
the internet.
internist.
internist.
So we
Okay.
had to wait 2 weeks now. The dog had a catheter. We had to keep changing it, draining it, changing it because we didn't want him to get infection. Now that's all we need is what is that? UTI. You know what I mean? UTI on top of everything else. So
Sure.
we're calling Dr. Zelfin. He's like, it's okay. You can leave him for a few days. She wants to change it every day. Like it's crazy.
But
But
the only person who can change it, the foley for the dog was only him. Only one. He touched him. I don't want nobody else touch him
only Dr.
because I
Zelfin.
was so, and I know he will be good because we don't want him, how causing more problem because his platelets is low. Every time I had to take him, I had to make sure nothing he caught.
We didn't
nothing
trust
because
anybody.
plus the anemia. Entonces, thank God, we have an appointment with the internist.
It was on the 28th, December 28th.
No, it was January 28th when he see the internist.
No,
Was
January.
wasn't
Yeah,
January.
January 28th. I'm
Was
sorry.
January
Yeah, it was
28th. Don't
she's
get
right.
confused.
Sorry. Yeah.
January 28th, we went to the internist. He checked it. He do the ultrasound. He making
better.
sure When he see the ultrasound, he say, I know what's causing this problem. I know we have what have the infection. I know what is the anemic,
Well,
and I know what's the platelets. They say the dog still have a cyst. It's a big cyst.
huge, but take real back. But the thing was when she did the ultrasound, she did an ultrasound again, yes.
Mhm.
And she already had the report from Dr. Zeltzman, from the other surgeon that did the first surgery. So she had all this. And she said, I have the papers up there. It says he was had surgery at another location. Dr. Zeltzman put a tube in him. Boom, boom, boom. The tube came out. She was explaining everything. And she said, on the results, SOP, whatever they call that thing that Dr. C was talking about, she put it in the notes. The dog's anemic. His platelets are deadly low. One of the reasons could be he has a huge cyst on his prostate.
So doctor number 1 says he's anemic, his platelets are low, possibly caused by the cyst.
Caused
But
by
the,
this.
but the cyst is removed, and the anemia
Supposedly.
is still happening.
Exactly. Well, no, Doctor number 2 is Zeltzman. He's saying to go to the internist so we can find out why the dog's anemic because we
Right.
didn't know why he's anemic, but we knew it was a problem. So when he sent us to the internist, she found out his cyst. She couldn't even measure it. I have the paperwork. It was so big she couldn't even get a measurement on it. And supposedly she said he needs surgery right away. It's on the paperwork. He needs surgery. But we refused the surgery because we had a surgeon already. That's Dr. Zeltzman. We only had our faith in him now because we've been through so much.
I thought the cyst was already removed.
That's the problem.
That's the
It's what the
problem.
internist say. But the cyst is removed. Why? Say
We asked
it's
her,
a mistake.
how can that happen? How can it be that big, that fast? She goes, it's a mystery. That's what she told us.
It's what the
It's a
internist told us.
mystery. That's what the internist told us. It's a mystery. And we're
So,
like,
just out of curiosity, if you can give me a timeline here. So, from the time you guys get the first diagnosis from Doctor 1, there's a cyst on your dog's prostate, and then you go in and you have the surgery.
Exactly.
What is the timeline from the time that the surgery to remove the cyst to when the internist says there's a massive cyst? Is that 2
Month.
weeks? 3?
1
1
month.
month.
So,
1
in
month.
4 weeks,
But he had
we
the
are to
tube.
believe that this cyst grew back.
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Okay.
In 1
Do
month.
you guys have both X-rays or the?
We have everything. You want? Yeah, I
Everything.
can show you right now. I have
I
everything.
have everything.
Everything.
Because
So now
everything,
we have the internist saying this is a massive cyst and this needs
Yes.
to be removed immediately.
Yes.
So we go back to Dr. Zeltzer. He
Yeah.
agrees.
He
And does the
agreed
surgery.
because he knows he got the reports from the internist, and he says, "Oh my God, there's a big cyst there." But again, he don't want to blame or point because he
Sure.
don't know what they did, and
He wasn't there. He
he
can't.
wasn't
Yeah,
there, and I don't blame him. But
that's
in my
fair.
mind, something happened. I don't know what, but something happened.
Right.
I don't know if because the bladder blew up so much with urine. That's why they were thinking the dog ain't gonna make it. We don't
Sure.
know. We don't
Sure.
know. But Dr. Zeltzman now, he said, we have a big problem because he's only a traveling surgeon. You understand? He only goes to clinics. He said the dog needs blood, he needs a transfusion, he needs platelets, and he don't have contact of that or a place that does that. He does works in clinics, he does surgeries. So
Sure.
only place that has that is emergency hospitals. And they wanted to keep my dog and do the surgery first. And I was like, no, please. I said,
I like the internist. She was excellent.
Yeah, but
the problem is I don't trust another doctor because
I
I
don't
don't know
trust
what
you.
they're gonna
Exactly.
do because what went through.
Exactly.
And I say, I leave to Dr. Sussman, help me. I will wait for you if you can get me the platelets, you can get me
The
the
blood.
transfusion, and you can
Well-
get me to the clinic. I told him, I will go whatever you tell me, but I wanna save my dog because my dog is eating, he's pooping, only he cannot pee, and I wanna keep her the more strong I can. And I was start helping him and
But
giving.
we called them and said, "What's next?" Because we had no clue now what we're gonna do.
Right.
And that we asked Dr.
And the only
Zelkin
reason is because he's not available to do the surgery, and the internist is saying you have to do the surgery.
right away.
I can understand being scared to death to have anybody except this last person that you trust. What is his recommendation, to go wherever he's going to be, or?
He said to us, "Give me a little time. I'm gonna work on this. We got to figure this out." But he's definitely gonna work with us. He's gonna help us,
Right.
no matter what. So we said, "No problem, doctor. We trust you." He said, "Don't worry. The catheter will keep them drained, and whenever we need to change it, we'll change it. But we have to set this up." So this is where it gets crazy because we were
Oh, this
calling.
is where it gets crazy.
This is where it gets crazy because we were calling. We don't know
yeah,
what we're gonna do now because he needs a surgery. We don't know how we're gonna do this. We have no clue. So we all worked together. It was me, Dr. Zeltzman, his assistant AJ, which is amazing, and we found a place after what, a week, 2 weeks, I think. After 2 weeks, he found a place in New Jersey. He said, "I found a place that's willing to help us."
Okay.
He said, "I could get the blood and the platelets, but you have to drive and get it, and then meet me at another facility in New Jersey so he could do the surgery." So we had to go to an emergency hospital in New Jersey. It's 2.5 hours with Ninja.
Wow.
Get the blood and platelets, go to another facility in New Jersey, which is an hour and a half, so he could do the surgery. And we went and picked up the blood and platelets on ice. We did that. We went to the other. We had to wait until he did the surgery. Now, after surgery, we have another hour and a half, and he's in intensive care now. And Dr. Zeltzman kept him until he knew the dog was going to be okay. He stayed there until like 5 or 6 o'clock. And he said, "You come and pick up the dog and take him immediately to the ICU. It's an hour and a half away." So, of course, I don't care about lights. I don't care about speeding. I don't care about anything. I just want to get my dog to this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're flying down there. I get
So he's
there.
had the surgery.
He had it. Dr.
It's done.
Zeltzman, he did the amortization Dr. Zeltzman has now. And he
Okay.
said removed it he drained and removed the abscess through and through, lateral and vertical. It's on my paperwork.
Okay.
And he put the cystoscopy tube back in. Okay. We
Here's
go
a
down.
question for you. While Dr. Zeltzer?
Zeltzman.
Zeltzman.
Man.
While he was in there, could he, I mean, if they removed a cyst, I feel like there should have been some kind of evidence that somebody else had been in there removing stuff. Was he able to determine whether or not there was any scar tissue from the previous surgery, or?
I didn't ask him any details. I mean, we were just happy he did it and the dog was safe and going to be okay. Well, it wasn't
Okay,
going
well,
to be
we need
okay.
to get those details.
Yeah,
You
but
need to call him back and ask him if he noticed any. I know he doesn't want to get involved, but
No.
that's just a yes or no answer. Did
well,
you
the
see
thing
scar
is,
tissue?
he don't want. It's like anybody. It's like,
I understand.
lawyers going against lawyers, doctors going against them, and he can't say that he don't want to go against. But he told me because I asked him. Okay, I asked him. I said, "What do you think the problem was?" He said, "I really can't tell you." He said, "I don't know if they." I said, "You think they did it right?" He goes, "I can't say if they did it right or they did it wrong."
Right.
That's what he told me. So I left it at that. I mean, I love the guy, and I ain't gonna get him angry at me because I have other dogs, and he's the man. You know what I mean? So
No, I understand, but that Scott, I'm gonna kind of shift this over to you. Is part of our problem.
That's a big part.
It's a huge part of Joey's Legacy's fight and problem, and though I completely understand why vets don't want to go against vets and why lawyers don't want to go against lawyers, while we understand it, this kind of thing continues because of it. So when we bring our doctors, our veterinarians on board onto Joey's Legacy, they are really saying, "Hey, I'm willing to," and that we know is so scary for them to come out and say we have a problem within the industry. Because if we were to go back to the first doctor and let's say she made an error, a complete mistake, error in judgment, call it whatever you want,
Or maybe not capable of doing it. You know what I mean?
or
Not
maybe
having
not
a
capable of
professional,
doing it.
you know?
And all of those things may be true, and she feels heartbroken and horrible and wishes that she would have done it differently. If
Mhm.
our vets don't speak up, then they get away with it,
Right.
and then it continues. And so it's unfortunate, because I would have one question to him, and that would be, and that's not him throwing her under the bus, but my question to him would be, was there any scar tissue that you could find while you were in there? His answer can just be yes or no. That doesn't mean that he's against or for her. It's what he saw, because that's really all he can testify to.
He knows. Yeah, he knows.
What he saw. So but I also understand your point too, not wanting to make him
No.
be a part of this, especially a traveling vet, right? He's a traveling surgeon,
Exactly. He knows everybody. You know?
right. So he's doing a lot of good. And if he can no longer travel all over because vets don't trust him, it's
Mhm.
just, it's the problem, right, Scott?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The willingness to remain silent
Yeah.
when these kind, and I'm not talking about Dr. Zeltzman. I'm talking about in general in
Right.
the industry, in the profession.
Right.
The willingness to remain silent, not speak out, is what has helped bring this the reputation of the veterinary profession down from number 3 most respected in 2006.
Yeah. That's such a good point, because it's so weird when that happens. Like you're protecting, but as you're protecting yourself, so to speak, because you just don't want the drama and the problems and people, and you don't want to lose your job, and all of this stuff, you're actually creating a bigger problem for yourself, because you're destroying what you love so much, which is the pet industry and helping animals. And
Right.
so it's just such an ugly, horrible position. And we understand the position of the vets that don't want to speak out, but we just love the veterinarians like Dr. Canizero
Yeah, she's
and
great.
Dr. Jean Dodds and all of the vets that are willing to say, we need to change the standards of care.
Mhm.
We also need our vets to be able to say, I messed up,
Uh-huh.
and not, push it
That's
aside
the
and try
thing.
to
If they admit, you can take it, accept it a little better. But when they try to hide it or don't say anything, that's the worst part ever. Be truthful.
Yeah.
Don't try to hide something. You
Exactly.
did something wrong.
Yeah.
I would probably would have forgiven her and respected her if she said, you know what, we did this. The surgery didn't go as we planned.
Yeah.
I would be upset, angry, but I would have forgave her. She tried.
I think I'm so glad that you're saying that, because I know Scott and I have talked about it on the show a lot, and every person we've ever have spoken with has said, it's the not knowing, it's the feeling like you're trying to sneak and connive, and it's that on top of my animal who's suffering that I have a hard time moving forward and going on. And that's why we're here. If Scott's veterinarian would have been honest and said, I screwed up and didn't take the right tests and gave your dog the wrong drug, I could tell you, I don't think we'd be here.
Exactly.
I don't think I'd be talking to Scott if that veterinarian would have been more upfront that he messed up. Scott's rolling his eyes like, I don't know.
I can't say for sure, Carrie, because
I know.
I mean, my perspective is my perspective is so jaded.
Yeah.
After 4.5 years of listening to hundreds of stories, it's like, how is this even listening to Tom and Giovanna?
It's horrible.
And I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is outrageous. And by the way, Tom and Giovanna, this is me speaking personally. At some point, when you feel like Ninja is totally recovered and doing well, if it was me, I'd write a letter to each veterinarian that said euthanize him and let them know his progress. And I would suggest to them that they surrender their license to practice veterinary
That's only
medicine.
one doctor said
They don't belong.
euthanize.
Okay,
The first
one
one.
doctor.
The first one, the first surgeon, she did.
Right. He or she doesn't deserve a license to practice veterinary medicine because there's no compassion. There was no willingness to follow through like you guys did. and they're in the wrong profession. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. When from all the years I've worked in the pet industry and the vet industry, vets can get very jaded and say, just put them to sleep. Just put them to sleep.
Easy
Because
way out.
they sometimes they make decisions based on what they think, like I don't know the answer, so I don't want to send you somewhere else and me look stupid, so I'll just euthanize this animal. But I've seen that both ways. I've seen veterinarians not suggest euthanizing an animal that probably should have been euthanized, because then they suck people dry of money when they have a 18-year-old dog who has cancer. So I've seen it happen both ways, but it's not the job of the veterinarian to decide what you can afford, want to do, or willing to do. It's not their job to decide whether you're willing to go all over the internet and drive all the way to New Jersey. That's not their decision to make.
Exactly.
It's your decision. It's their job to say, this might be out of my wheelhouse.
Exactly.
And there's something seriously wrong with your dog, and I don't know what it is, so we need to find. And that's all she needed to do, in my opinion.
And the thing was, I remember they were bringing up that the other day with the lawyer and Dr. C, and he was like, well, maybe they told him not to do the surgery, or maybe they said this. No, we wanted to do whatever we had to do to save this dog.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about any money at that point.
Yeah.
It was just saving them, saving Ninja,
Yeah.
And that's
So Ninja gets, so ultimately Ninja, because we're coming up on, I don't want to keep people too long. It's 6:10. So Ninja gets the surgery through Dr. Zeltzman, right?
yes, we're almost done. Almost.
So we got the surgery thanks to like you three. I don't know how many people are involved in the family, but
a lot of people.
A lot.
The three of you guys that I am looking at, you are such an inspiration to people who, think they need to give up because a veterinarian told them to give up, to have them put to sleep. And there's probably, sadly, millions of animals that have been put to sleep that maybe didn't need to be put to sleep.
Didn't have to. They didn't have to do it. It's
so sad. But it takes that. It takes the calling and it's not, sometimes people think, oh, it's just because you love your dog more than the other person loves their dog. Sometimes it's just that drive and that intuition, which I think that Giovanna has such an amazing intuition and connection with your dog that you were able to and I'm sure your nursing background played a role in it.
Exactly.
But I don't want people to walk away from this and say, well, I'm not a nurse, so how would I know that? It doesn't take that always for someone to be a nurse. It takes you to just sometimes sit back and notice that your dog just started licking the tile on your floor. And
they can't talk. They can't speak.
Only I can tell you to the people who seen that if you see something wrong to the dog, you see it's down, do you see it's sad, something, you see something, go with your guts,
exactly.
Do it. You see something wrong, call to the vet. Check them, do a blood work, making check. Don't let him know, check and do something more. Don't let it make you feel down. They tell you have to euthanize and get another opinion. Don't let them make you feel bad, because if you see you have one more day life, keep them alive, because I don't know, I see like my dogs and like my other kids. I want to try to keep them the more patient I can, because I love my animals.
Or her patient.
I feel like Crystal's in the back going, she loves that dog more than me.
Yes. And try to keep going, because it's your animal. I understand there are times that you see that it's wrong, and it is time you will feel in your soul that it's time when you have to do
Let it go.
But in that time, I know it was not his time. I can do more for him, and that's why we did it.
And the funny thing is, when we went back to the ICU, right? We went back an hour, and now we're gone. How many hours driving this poor dog back and forth for surgery?
Crystal, were you with them driving?
Yes, I was.
Oh,
All
yes.
of us. My son was too. My son's over there. They're twins, actually, by the
What
way.
a lucky dog. I mean, what
Yeah.
a man, he hit the lottery. Like he really hit the family lottery.
Well, it's love and not giving up, you know, not
Yeah.
perseverance, man. Just keep going. Don't give
Yeah.
up. Don't give up. No surrender, you know.
Great
You got to
story.
fight.
Great story.
Fight to the end, you know.
Yeah.
And we did.
So
I mean,
it, so just because I know he got you go to the ICU. So when did you guys get him home?
we was at the ICU with a great, I'll tell you what, the critical list. And now we got a critical list guy, too. We got intern, we got critical, we got surgery, we got everything. God, we even have God. But he was there with the best critical list guy you could possibly imagine. They
Yeah.
all worked together. It was we all got a group of people together. It was a group, and we all worked together. They did a fantastic job. 2.5 days. He said the critical list told me it's going to probably be 3 days at least. He's going to have to stay here. No, we can't sleep. We're up for 24 hours, calling all night long,
Yeah.
and they were being great with us. Honestly,
Mhm.
during COVID, you can't do anything, so
Right.
that's another problem. You know, it was terrible. And so what happened was they kept him there 2.5 days. He calls us up like 9:30. He said you could come and pick up your dog. He could pick up Ninja. And I said, okay. He said, give me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I said, well, it's going to take me an hour and a half to get there anyway. So he said, no problem. So we went down. That's the video you see him walking out. I don't know if you've seen the video, but that's when he's walking out of the third surgery. He's coming out. And that was 2.5 days in ICU. We put him in the car. She starts working on him. Soon as on the way home, she says, stop. I got to drain him. Now we got like a 3 hour drive to get back, or 2.5 hours. Stop. We're draining him, feeding him, whatever. 2 days later, we get home. We email Dr. Zeltzman. You ain't going to believe it, Dr. Zeltzman. She said, we knew when we got home. Actually, he did the next day, but she didn't want to say nothing because she didn't want to jinx it. That's how she
Right.
felt. And she didn't
Right.
want to tell him something and think, oh, we're getting all excited. And
And then
he's not, you know. So she said, "Don't say nothing, because I'm ready. You know me, I'm ready to go, man. That's it. You know, you tell me one thing, I'm ready. I jump ahead of me, you know." So 2 days later, we email him, Dr. Zelsman. We got amazing news. I have the email, and it says, "Ninja just urinated 3 times. She puts the time down and everything, and 3 big puddles." She says, right, and he said, "That's fantastic." He emailed me back. Maybe that cyst was putting pressure on his urethra.
Right.
That's why he
Right.
couldn't urinate.
Yeah.
So
So
not maybe, 100%.
100%. 100%.
Well,
Now
maybe.
how long has he been urinating on his own now?
Since March, May.
Yeah, since that day he been
She's-
peeing by his own. He had the tube for a
Yeah,
while
we're peeing on his own, but we kept the tube in to keep him, make sure until March, I think.
until May.
May 7th, I believe. It was May
So
7th.
on May
I
7th,
I have the email of that too. Oh, not the email, but the paperwork when they took the tube out, and we
so
didn't
the
want
tube
to.
comes out around May 7th, and he's been
Yeah.
urinating.
Oh yeah.
He was urinating 2 days after the third surgery.
Yeah. Well, I wrote today that when Ninja pees, the whole world smiles.
Wow,
And
and that was
sounds
amazing.
like-
It gave me chills. She's crying over
Yes,
here.
and he was still going with the internists, and
Oh,
he
for
was
months.
getting very
The
good.
anemia was
The
getting
anemia
better.
was going away, was going out. The platelets started going up. I was giving him meat, liver.
Liver.
I have to
She
put
was
the ounces
measuring.
measured because I can't give her too much
Too
liver,
much
too
liver is
much
not
less.
good.
I was giving
much
B12
less, yeah.
for animals, and even the internet
Egg,
can't believe
yolk.
it. Oh my God, his hemoglobin
His
is going
zinc
up,
going up.
is going up. His
They couldn't believe
platelets
it.
start going up because he have like a 20,000 was going to 30,000, it was going to 40,000, was going to
Going
15,000,
fast.
was going up. I have the appointment like every 2 weeks. It's coming up.
Sometimes
up,
every
up.
week.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, they see
Yeah.
like I was taking him out, the 3 times a day to like he go pee outside, like learning again how to pee his own outside, walking him around.
So
My daughter
I-
taking.
I have a question for you. Have you reached out to the first vet at all? Does she know that he's alive and doing well?
She does now because she got those court orders. She knows now. I don't. Well, her lawyer called me, so she's gonna find. I told her because they're
Yeah.
like, "Don't say no, everybody." But I don't care. I have nothing to hide. The truth
That's
comes
okay.
out.
That's okay. Yeah. So we're gonna. Dr. Canizero is looking at the case, and Joey's
Now,
Legacy is
yes.
trying to help to see
Yeah.
if
To see if there's
if
malpractice.
we have a case or if there is something that can be done to prevent this from possibly happening to another dog. Scott, I have to say, like, we hear so many tragic ending stories, and I wish that your story wasn't one of those tragic stories, but it
Me
is
too.
very nice
Sorry.
to
Very
have a
sorry.
story that ended well. You
This
know,
is-
I mean,
this is a
it's
great
horrible that he
story.
went through it, but it's nice to hear the story.
This is a great story. This is a story that goes to the compassion and the love we have for our
Yeah.
family members,
Yeah.
our loved ones, and the whole concept of property has been debunked
Yeah.
by Joey's Legacy
Yeah.
in the past
Absolutely.
4.5 years. It's just
Absolutely.
we got sucked into a bunch of propaganda from the vet mob.
Yeah.
That wanted to just indoctrinate us, try to train our brains to believe that we have no power.
Yeah.
But we've broken through. We've done some great groundbreaking work, and I can't say enough about your family.
Yeah. So
This is what we would do for our for our children, our sons and our daughters, and we do the exact same thing because we see our canines and our felines as family members.
Yeah. They're not.
This
They're
is
not a
here's your
toaster.
proof
They're
right here.
definitely not a toaster.
You wouldn't walk into a human pediatrician office and the pediatrician say, well, you know, if you take him home and he doesn't urinate for 24 hours, we'll just put him to sleep. That
Yeah,
would
right.
never, ever happen.
Never happened, right?
So, you know, and while there are some different things with animals, which I can agree to, they get to a certain point in their life. How old was Ninja when he first got sick?
6 years old.
He's a
Six.
baby.
Yeah, still young. He's 7
practically a
now.
baby.
He made a year.
Yeah,
A
he's
year.
practically a baby. So it's we're coming up on some time, so I'm going to let everybody go. But I do have one more question for Giovanna. Giovanna, when are you going to start veterinarian school?
I don't know. I don't know.
She could
but
do it now. Actually,
yes, probably.
I think she got enough experience. So
You have a lot of intuition. You're a smart lady. We need people like you. I think you should consider it if it's a possibility for you. And if not you, I can look straight over
My
to
son.
my right, which
my
would be.
son,
I was just going to say your children
right there.
probably have your same
This
instincts.
one, she's very good. She could be a good vet. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Because I
Well-
did, and she helped me a lot. Every time I have to do something, I say, Crystal, I'm doing it. I'm teaching you. You do the same thing. He gonna be fine.
There he is.
Because
Here's
I do
my son.
around the
Wanna say
clock
hi?
everything he needs.
Let's say
Well-
hi. Here's my son. He's going to be the neurosurgeon.
We need good
Yes,
veterinarians.
bro.
How are you?
Hi.
Hey, how you
So,
I'm doing good.
if ever that happens and you become a veterinarian, please reach out to me. I would love to know that somebody in your family is getting into the veterinary field. I think you guys are just. If I had an award to give, I would give you like the family award.
Yeah, it's not an award.
really.
It's just doing what a pet owner would do. You know what I mean? I mean, hopefully,
Well,
most
some
people.
pet owners don't know that they can do that.
That's the
They
problem.
actually feel
the-
like
They
they're
believe
going
the vet.
against their veterinarian. That
Mhm.
maybe they started going to that vet since the dog was a puppy.
I know, it's
And
sad.
so
but
when that veterinarian says X, they go, oh, okay, well, he's been his veterinarian his whole life, and they don't go any
You
further.
must know.
So sometimes people just don't know that they can do that.
And
or
don't get
that
me wrong, not all vets are bad. Look at Zelsman. He was a hero.
Yeah.
He's a hero. My God,
Yeah.
he was a hero.
Yeah.
Between her and my wife and the whole crew, that's why even his story, what he put, there was a bunch of people involved. Clinics,
Yeah.
like a half a dozen clinics.
And that's the thing to talk about, is that when you look at all of those veterinarians that helped save his life, and then you look at how many weren't a part of his best self, it's very little compared to a lot. And that is what Scott and I say on a daily basis, is that we want to get rid of the little and raise the lot up, so to speak. So I just want to thank you so much for sharing this story, because I know somebody's listening to this who's thinking maybe they should put their pet to sleep. Yeah. And I know they're probably thinking, you know what, maybe I'm going to make one more phone call, you know, and maybe it's that one more phone call that saves your dog's life. Exactly. And you could be sitting at home on a podcast, petting your dog and getting your kids in vet school. Who knows? But I just thank you so much for reaching out and doing this.
Thank you for letting us come here, and thank Scott, Joey's Legacy. Without him,
Legacy, Scott's amazing.
He's great. Anybody that even thinks they have a malpractice, even if you don't have one, talk to him, because if you don't have it, we're hoping no one has malpractice, I'll be honest with you, because we're not looking for this, you know?
You know, that's the interesting thing here. And I know Scott and I have said this before, and I've talked to some of the other board members. We don't want it to be veterinary malpractice, and you shouldn't want it to be veterinary practice either. You should want to be able to go through all of this and find out it just was a horrible situation, and it was maybe your dog's time or whatever it is. That's the better outcome. You don't want this to be veterinary malpractice. Nobody wants it to be that. No. So,
and I don't know if it's sorry, but I don't know if it's they don't get enough training or they're not caring. I got no idea what it is. Like, all three of them were saying almatilization, right? One said she did it. The second one says he needs it, and the third one did it the right way. So what happened there? You know what I mean? And they're all the same thing. They're all almatilization. I have the paperwork. It's all almatilization.
Yeah.
So, and it's 80-90% recovery rate if you look it up. 80-90%.
Wow. That's yeah.
That's pretty good odds.
If there's one thing I think we learn as we continue on with Joey's Legacy, is it's not one cause. It's not, do they not care? It's not, do they not have training? Is it not, it's sometimes all of the above. They're not getting in the right training. And a lot of times I say one of the biggest cause is that they don't have enough staff, and they get too busy, and they're like trying to get you in and out. Well, we'll just euthanize him and go, because I got 5 other dogs I got to deal with, and this one I might not know. So there's so many, but one thing I think it is not caring. Like, I think they start out and they care, but they get overwhelmed. And when they get overwhelmed, it feels like they don't care. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's what Scott and I are trying to do is get it so that it's not on their plate anymore. We raise the standards. We change they get in trouble when they don't do it. And we do all of these things and change the laws, and we put them in place. And so animals get better care that way. It's that simple.
Like I say, not all vets, or, you know, even the best vets can make. I make mistakes every day. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying they're all bad. Some people make mistakes. We all do. No, we're all human. Yeah. And we understand that. But there's a point. What's the point? Like Dr. Zelsman said, when do you cross that rainbow bridge? Yeah. You know, when does a surgeon say he can't do it no more? Or when does a parent say we can't take it no more?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And he's right. So where's the point? You know, the point is where it ends. That's the point. Yeah. You know. But yeah, amazing. But
well, you guys are amazing. Scott, as always, I'm glad that you're on here. And just,
thank you for coming. Man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, we weren't sure. Scott's got so many of these he's doing. We weren't sure if he was going to make it tonight, but I'm glad you were here, Scott. We could talk a little bit more about, things we do. All of these stories help us push us a little further into what we need to do. And it was my pleasure to be able to bring this story to our listeners and see that, it's worth fighting for.
I'm glad you did it, because no one else wants to do it, and no one will want to hear it. So thank you, guys.
Well, I love the stories that are inspiring, and this is a very inspirational story. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. And
all right, you guys, Crystal, Giovanni, thank you so much for being here. You guys are
Thank
amazing.
you guys. Thank
have a
you.
good
We'll keep
evening.
in
Terry,
touch.
thank
We're
you.
gonna keep in touch. Yes, Scott.
And
Thank you very much.
Thanks to the
I'll
Clark
try not-
family.
I'll try not to bother you too much. You know what
No,
I mean?
you don't bother me.
You're
If
not
I can do
bothering
anything
us.
to help you, that's why I'm here.
Oh,
You're
you're
not
great,
bothering
you
us.
guys. We love you guys.
I do so many Siberian Huskies a day that they're close to my heart. You're not bothering me. So.
Thank you guys. We love
All
you
right,
guys.
you guys. Thank you. Take care.
You're good. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.